You could spend $2,500 on a TV, and a couple of years later, it would start showing ads on the screensaver, not a new TV sitting in the store, the one already in your living room. The ads arrived in a software update. In a new car, a garage door button gets replaced by a subscription app. A printer refuses to print even though the cartridge is full of ink. You've already paid for all three, but after checkout the manufacturer can still make money from them. Show you ads, sell back the button that disappeared, or decide which cartridge counts as approved. At checkout, your side of the deal was over. The manufacturer still had the remote, and every click could be turned into another charge. Here's what that looks like right now. On the 2026 Honda Passport sold in the United States, the HomeLink garage door buttons disappeared from the standard mirror. Honda offers MyQ Connected Garage through an app instead. The first month is free. Then it's $129 for 3 years or $179 for 5. Want the old physical button? Buy a separate accessory mirror. A button for your garage on a subscription. The real danger shows up later, once the product is built into your life. Walking away is expensive. Replacing it is a pain. And now the manufacturer gets to set the new terms. Software came first, because software rental is the easiest version of this to defend. In 2013, Adobe stopped selling perpetual licenses. You can't buy Photoshop anymore. You can only rent it. The US Department of Justice later used Adobe's own internal documents to unpack the exit terms. The default plan was annual, even though you paid monthly. Leave early, and you owed half of the remaining balance. According to the department, that fee wasn't clearly visible until you tried to cancel. The lawsuit quotes an Adobe executive comparing the hidden cancellation fee to heroin for Adobe. In March of this year, the settlement cost the company $150 million. Half in civil penalties, half in free services for customers. Adobe admitted no wrongdoing, and the fee itself wasn't banned. Now, it just has to be disclosed up front. Then AI brought back metered billing inside the subscription. Last summer, Cursor, the coding tool, changed what its plan meant after people had already subscribed. Before, $20 for 500 requests, after $20 in credits spent at the rate of whichever model you used. People burned through a month of credit in a couple of days and got extra bills. The company apologized and refunded the unexpected charges. And the apology included one unusually honest line. We weren't clear that unlimited applied only to some models. You pay a fixed amount. What you get is variable. And the provider can recalculate it whenever it wants. With software, at least there's an argument. It changes. It needs updates. But now companies are putting the same kind of lock on products that simply sit in your home. A printer. There's a chip inside the cartridge. Since 2016, HP has pushed firmware that detects third-party cartridges and stops the printer from printing. At first, the printer didn't even tell you the cartridge was third-party. It showed an error that made a working cartridge look defective. So the customer went back to exchange a perfectly good cartridge and blamed the wrong company. In January 2024, HP CEO Enrique Lores explained the policy on CNBC in one sentence. When we identify cartridges that violate our intellectual property, we stop the printers from working. And in the United Kingdom, canceling instant ink disables even a full HP subscription cartridge. Once the current billing period ends, that cartridge stops printing. Then HP offered a solution to the problem it had created. In the American all-in plan, printing costs $8 a month for 20 pages. That's 40 cents per page. You aren't paying for ink, you're paying for a page allowance. And only some unused pages roll over. The terms, updated at the end of July, say it plainly. You don't own the printer or the cartridges, not even if you pay an early cancellation fee. Not even if you pay for the full 24 months. But a manufacturer can do more than block a cartridge. It can choose the date when a perfectly good product stops working for you. In May of this year, Amazon cut off Kindle Store access for Kindles from 2012 or earlier. The device still works. The screen is fine. The battery holds a charge. but you can't buy a book from it anymore. Your downloads stay as long as the Kindle remains registered to your account. Do a factory reset and you can never register it again. The reset button quietly became a self-destruct button. At the end of January, Waymo smart plugs lost their app when Belkin shut down the cloud service. The company promised partial refunds only to owners whose devices were still under warranty. That's a very small group. For Nito robot vacuums, the German company Vorwerk promised to keep the cloud service running for at least 5 years. It shut it down after 2.5. In the United Kingdom, Hive, owned by Centrica, the parent company of British Gas, remotely shut down people's home cameras and security systems last year. The official reason: the company wanted to focus on greener products. It can feel like this is just how shutdowns work. It isn't. When Amazon closed Halo, it automatically refunded customers who had bought one in the previous 12 months. No receipt, no device return. So limiting refunds to products still under warranty isn't a necessity. It's a company choice. And this isn't a handful of weird cases. A US regulator checked 184 connected devices. In almost 90% of cases, the manufacturer never said how long it would support the product. The product has an expiration date. You just don't get to see it. But this model costs you the most where walking away is hardest. In a car, a few years ago, BMW tried selling a subscription for heated seats that were installed at the factory. Then it dropped the idea. A board member explained why. People felt like they had paid twice. The heated seat subscription disappeared. The business model didn't. BMW's connected drive catalog still contains paid unlocks for other features. Mercedes still lists a paid power upgrade called Acceleration Increase in its US app. Same motor, same hardware, the line of code changes. At launch, it costs $60 a month on one model and $90 on another, or almost $3,000 as a one-time purchase for the life of the vehicle. Mercedes didn't offer that power upgrade in Germany, where changing the output would require the car to be certified again. Since mid-February, Tesla's full self-driving driver assistance package has been subscription only for new buyers in the United States. $99 a month. It used to be available as an $8,000 one-time purchase. The subscription ends when the car is sold, so the next owner has to start over and pay for it again. And Tesla ended the transfer program for previously purchased packages on March 31st. That's where the real risk becomes obvious. You aren't leasing the car, you bought it. But some paid digital features may not follow the car to its next owner. And you find that out on the day you try to sell it. Then something changed last week. On July 31st, European Union countries began applying new right to repair rules. They cover a specific list of products. If a product is on that list, the manufacturer can't block repair through a contract, the hardware, or the software. It also can't stop an independent repair shop from using original second-hand or compatible parts, and it can't refuse a repair just because someone else worked on the product before. But here's the honest limit. The list is narrow. It includes washing machines, dishwashers, refrigerators, TVS, vacuum cleaners, phones, and tablets. Printers, coffee machines, and cars aren't on it. And the rule still contains an exception when a restriction can be objectively justified by intellectual property protection. In other words, a company can still reach for the same phrase HP used to explain why it stops printers from working. To be fair, there's a real counter-argument. Sometimes a subscription makes sense. Software dies without updates. Support and compatibility cost money. Paying for a service that's still being maintained is normal. But look at what you're actually being charged for in these examples. A heated seat doesn't need updates. A cartridge doesn't need support. A physical garage door button doesn't need a cloud server. The problem isn't subscriptions. It's charging again for something that was already built and already paid for. So what can you do? Before buying a smart product, don't stop at the reviews. Look for the end of support date. In Britain, manufacturers have had to publish it since 2024. No date means you don't know the product's real lifespan. If a car has paid features, find out whether they stay with the car or with your account. That's real money on the day you sell it. And here's the bigger point. A product that doesn't need the internet, an app, or an account is worth more now, even if the price tag doesn't show it. A software update can't take away its basic functions. If you want to keep seeing where the money goes after the purchase, like and subscribe.